Okay, guys. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the scale of intelligence. So essentially, you've heard me talk about the vibrational scales. So when we talk about the physical, emotional, mental, and the etheric principle. So each of these layers has a particular intelligence to it, and we're going to go through the process on how to develop that. So the first aspect that we need to look at is how to separate the layers that interact in each of these layers. So consciousness, relationship to body and gravity, which together creates the physical intelligence. So to develop physical intelligence, we need to understand the relationship between consciousness, which is essentially center of balance, the center of mass, and center of gravity, and how they interact together. So we develop a sensitivity separately, and then we integrate it together to develop physical intelligence. So essentially, intelligence meaning an efficient use of information, accessibility to information, and efficient use of the energy or the force that you're able to conduct. So that's the aspect of the intelligence. And it's also how to develop a conductive body so you can conduct more energy and information through the fascial web by developing the body's integrity. So all of this comprises of developing physical intelligence. And then we use the same principles to develop emotional intelligence, which is different information. So there's more qualitative aspect when it comes to discerning the information contained in our character, contained in the emotional patterns in ourselves and in other people. And once we're able to discern and experience and have a sensitivity to this, we're able to not only have a deeper access to the information, but we're able to transform and transmute these qualities. So we're able to develop that emotional intelligence for a higher purpose. And in essence, this helps us to develop character. So character development, there's a science to it. So we have to separate the layers of consciousness, identity, and the body's relationship to it, or the information. So once we're able to do that, then we're able to not only view the emotion, we're able to regulate it by creating transformational skills, because you can only affect what you feel. So once you have a perception, you separate the layers and then you integrate it back together. So isolate to integrate. So then you start to develop emotional intelligence. And then we go into intuitive intelligence. So this is where we start to develop a bit more clarity and develop mental power. We're predominantly focused on developing intellect in our society. To develop the intuition, there's a particular science to it. So for that, we have to be able to discern and separate the intellect from the intuition. And when we start to isolate these components, then we understand that they have very different functions. So once we do that, then we are able to understand how the intuition functions and how the intellect functions. Then once we get that understanding, we bring it together, and this develops a type of intuitive intelligence. There's a knowing and an ability to process what you know almost simultaneously. And with that, you're able to develop the intuitive intelligence and mental power and develop clarity of intent, because clarity of intent is what allows all the other layers to be efficient as well. So these are very practical ways on how we're going to develop these aspects. And once we develop it, then you'll see straight away how it reflects into your own lives in many different aspects. And then we go into the causal intelligence or the spiritual intelligence. So this is where we start to understand the nature of emptiness and the interaction and relationship to consciousness and emptiness. So this allows you to understand what the spirit is or what consciousness is. And once you're able to do that, then you're able to discern what the long game is, right? So we're here for a short period of time, and if we utilize this time efficiently, then you start to develop the spiritual intelligence where you're able to navigate more clearly the metaphysical aspects of reality. And then it can reflect back into materializing circumstances, skills, and many different aspects of the reality that we live in, and also dematerialize. So the causal principle is essentially going to teach you how to materialize and dematerialize things. So once you're able to do that, then you're able to induce any state of consciousness that you require for different objectives. So for example, absorption of information or quick learning, there's a particular state of consciousness that you need to get into for that. So it's a type of a flow state for learning. And there's a flow state for athletic performance. There's a flow state for musical performance. All these different things are essentially states of consciousness. Up until now, we've gone from effect to cause. So meaning there's a particular environment that you expose yourself to, particular conditions in the environment, which regulates the internal conditions and eventually gets you to this flow state, which is essentially a state of consciousness. So we're going from the bottom up, effect to state of consciousness to the cause. But once you learn the metaphysics of it, you induce the state of consciousness, which in effect, as a byproduct, gets you a physical result. So it's a quicker way of how to get there. Understanding the causal principles will allow you to regulate your consciousness in all these different ways for different practical use cases. So for example, there's a particular flow state that's required for a martial artist, which is different for someone who's going to be performing as a musician, or someone who wants to be studying or debating, whatever it may be. These are different states of consciousness that we need to start practicing and start taking ownership of. But they're going to all involve consciousness, identity, and body, right? They're always interplaying. So we isolate it only to identify the roles, the unique roles that they play, but they're always functioning as an integrated system. But we need to isolate it to understand and develop each aspect separately, and then we integrate it and we start to see how all of this manifests. So the way we're going to be developing all these different layers of intelligence or scale of intelligence is through partner work. So this is where we use the Taichi engine or the Taichi framework to test what we're doing. And once we're able to test that, mind moves energy and energy moves body, then we test all these different ways on how we can change the information to change the way people move and interact, and how we can regulate their emotions, how we can regulate the state of consciousness, and allow that to reflect back in ourselves. So essentially, it allows us to navigate reality with more precision, which means that every aspect of your life, whether you're a parent, whether you're an athlete, a martial artist, a musician, whatever it may be, you have a precision on how you get to that objective. So basically, regulate the state of consciousness, regulate your emotions and character towards the physical materialization of that objective, then you have an efficient way on how to get there. And we have practical ways on how to develop this and test this. We're going to expand it beyond Tai Chi, beyond martial arts, and bring it more to functionality, more practicality for everyday life, for various purposes, for different goals that people may have. This is what we're going to be covering in this year's workshop. Pari's going to take you through all the details of all the workshops. So we've got about 5 workshops coming through. So I hope to see you guys there. If you're interested, go to the website and check out all the details.
Hi guys, Pari here. Just wanted to give you a quick little update on the seminar. So we've got 5 locations this year. So they start in April 25th in Switzerland. So we've got 2 in Switzerland, 1 in Zurich or near Zurich, and another one in Geneva. Then we move to Italy, so Livorno in Italy. Then we move to the UK, so Bristol. And we're finishing off our seminars in Montreal, Canada. So I've got all of the information on the website. It's also got a full seminar outline, and it'll have all the information for the 2-day, the 5-day, and 10-day seminar attendance options. But if there's anything that you still have questions around, feel free to email me at info@theurbansage.org. I will put those links in the description, but we're really looking forward to seeing everyone there. I think it's going to be great fun. It's going to be jam-packed. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to jump on a Zoom call to answer any of those questions if need be. Check out the links, check out the website, and we look forward to training with you.